Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Death Artist. This movie is also known as A Bucket of Blood, and it's a remake of A Bucket of Blood from 1959. This came out in 1995. It's like a made-for-TV movie. I've never seen the original. Never even heard of it. Maybe it's a classic. Maybe that's bad that I've never heard of it or never seen it. I stumbled upon this movie yesterday, and I was doing some stuff and it was kind of late, and this was like an hour and 18 minutes, so I needed something short to watch, and it kind of caught my interest, so decided to watch it. I was just scrolling through Plex, which is like a free streaming service, and I was just like looking, through like the comedy section, and this came up, and I saw Anthony Michael Hall on the cover, and his name was on the cover, and it said A Bucket of Blood, and it looked like a horror movie. I mean, I get it is like categorized as a horror comedy. Sometimes on the streaming services, the way they categorize stuff is kind of weird, but definitely it does have some comedy elements in there. But anyways, yeah, I saw the cover, and then I was like, I'm a fan of Anthony Michael Hall, and I didn't even know he was in like a straight up horror film, so I was like, I gotta check this out eventually. And then I was like scrolling through Google and stuff, and I found I was on Tubi, and like I like Tubi better than Plex. Plex is still legit, so I just decided to watch it on Tubi. That's part of the reason why I like initially said The Death Artist instead of A Bucket of Blood, because that's what it was titled on Tubi, and that'll kind of like differentiate it if people are, trying to look up the other movie. That it'll kind of, make it less confusing. But yeah, just found this on Plex, and it was on Tubi. Watched it. My overall thoughts, I just thought it was okay. Like it it was decent enough. It was a made for TV movie, so I mean, I didn't go into it with like super high expectations. I couldn't find too much about it before, going in. Like I don't even think I watched the trailer before watching it. But yeah, it was just okay. Like I didn't dislike it, but it wasn't that great. Just excuse me there. I thought I was gonna have some. Thought I was gonna burp, but then it didn't happen. Weird. Anyways, this is produced by Roger Corman. A lot of you probably know who he is. He's a legend. I don't know a ton of his movies. I'm coming on here, I'm just telling you all I don't know anything about anything, but I know of him. I know that he, I believe, produced all the Slumber Party Massacre movies, and then he did like the Sorority House Massacre movies, Cheerleader Massacre, like all those massacre movies. He's done like a lot of like B horror movies. He's like a legend. He's been making movies since like I believe the 50s, maybe earlier, but he's had like a super long career, and he just stays true to like the B horror movies. Of course, he's probably done other stuff, but I was watching some documentary with him. I think he does those like Sharktopus movies where it's like a shark octopus, probably like CGI, like creature feature. I've never seen those, but I mean, sometimes I mess with those like CGI, low budget B movie creature feature, so maybe I'll check that out. But yeah, he always pops up in like all these documentaries that I watch, like a lot of like horror documentaries and documentaries about like physical media and stuff. He always pops up. I watched this one documentary with him. I believe it was called Kings of Cult. I haven't watched it in a while, so I'm pretty sure that that's what it was called though. But it was just him and Charles Band, and they were basically just like having a conversation, pretty much like, you know, interviewing each other and talking about their careers. That's a solid documentary. I would definitely recommend it. I'm pretty sure it's called King's Occult, so check that out if you're a, you know, documentary person. I need to recommend more like horror documentaries on here, because when I'm, you know, in between watching movies and stuff, like I like, you know, watching a lot of horror documentaries, and I like the behind the scenes horror books. Like I'm reading Slash of the Titans right now by Dustin McNeil, so that's really good. The Sleepaway Camp book is also good. Read that a couple years ago, but anyways, I'm gonna give you all a little. Oh yeah, I mentioned Anthony Michael Hall's in this because I wrote that with like the Roger Corman note. But yeah, I'm a big um, Anthony Michael Hall fan. Of course, all, you know, his work in like the John Hughes movies, and you know, he's 16 Candles, Breakfast Club, Weird Science. Is National Lampoon's Vacation John Hughes? I don't know. I need to do more research for these videos, but he's great in that movie. There's like a couple like 90s movies that he's in that are like nobody talks about, but I like them. Like they're not like the best movies ever, but like Johnny Be Good's not bad. Out of Bounds, that was in the 80s, that's pretty good. Hail Caesar, that's not bad. That's like a 90s one. So yeah, like I'm a big Anthony Michael Hall fan. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, that's like a big reason why I checked this out. But moving on, I'm going to give you all a little plot summary. So Anthony Michael Hall's character, he's this bus boy at this like artsy coffee shop where they have like all these performances and stuff like that. They're these like spoken word art performances, and it's like these artists come in and try to sell their stuff, and he's this bus boy, and he gets like no respect. Like his boss treats him terribly. He's kind of like into this woman who works there, and he wants to like become an artist to impress her, but he tries like sculpting when he gets home. Like when he gets home to his little basement dwelling, his little basement apartment, he gets home, he tries to like sculpt stuff out of clay, but he straight up sucks. So I mean, he's never gonna get this girl if he doesn't become a great artist. So then he accidentally kills this cat, and he just like puts you know, clay over that, and he calls it Dead Cat, and it sells, and everyone's talking about him. Everyone wants to like sign him. They want to be like his agent. I just gotta mention this. Like his boss does him dirty. Like he sells this Dead Cat sculpture for like 5,000, and he was supposed to give Anthony Michael Hall's character half. He gave him $25, but like he didn't know how much it sold for, so he was still happy. He was like, I'm like a working artist. I got paid. Someone bought my thing, so he was still happy. But like, what a sleaze bag, dude. Like, I mean, he was behind on his bills, but like, dude, you're getting half. What do agents get usually? 10%? You're getting half. Like, take the 2,500. Give him 2,500. Quit being a piece of work, my guy. Like, get out of here. That made me like mad. I wanted to throw my remote. No, I'm just kidding. Not that mad, but like, what a piece of work. That's all I can say. But anyways, you know, he sells the cat sculpture. Everyone's talking about him. One thing leads to another. There's this detective that comes through and tries to like bust him for drugs that aren't even his. He ends up killing him, and then he just keeps killing people and turning them into sculptures, and that's the basic plot. And you know, I haven't seen the original, and obviously this is a remake. I heard that this is pretty much like shot for shot, like it doesn't do anything different than the original one, but I thought the concept was really original. I know it's not original because it's a remake, but I'm saying the concept of this and the original is really unique. Like someone wants to be an artist, sucks at being an artist, and he just like kills people and plasters over them, and you know, tries to play it off like they're these like great sculptures that he created. So I thought that was super unique. That was pretty cool. Just a random thing. I'm just going through my notes, If you all have seen the videos, you know the drill. I get pretty random with it, but Will Ferrell is in this movie for like 5 seconds, and on the Wikipedia page, most reliable source, Wikipedia, use it for all your school projects. On the Wikipedia page, it says that this is Will Ferrell's film debut, which is crazy. But yeah, he's just in it for like, yeah, because he's like huge, like he's like the biggest thing ever nowadays. I don't know, I haven't seen him in a movie in a while, but like, I mean, for a while there, like Step Brothers, that's like a classic. Like I was in class today, and my teacher had like a clip of Step Brothers on the screen, and he was like using it to explain this theory. Like it was, I mean, Step Brothers is a classic. What can I say? But anyways, he's on screen for like 5 minutes. Anthony Michael Hall is like, "Hey man, buy my sculpture." He's like, "Hey, I don't have the money. What do you think? I got money like that?" I'm just paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said, but like that was it. Like he was just had a couple lines and then he just dipped. But it was cool to see him. I was like, what? And then another recognizable actor. This guy, I'm not super familiar with him, but I recognized him. His name's Michael McDonald, and he played. It was either Big John or Little John in Halloween Kills, which I don't like that movie. I don't really like the new Halloween trilogy. I haven't even seen Ends. I like probably will never see that ever. I don't really rock with those new ones that much. But I mean, if people like them, that's cool. I know a lot of people like them. They're just not for me. But he was like Big John or Little John in that. And I thought it was kind of interesting that he's in this movie and Anthony Michael Hall is in it as well, because they were both in Halloween Kills as well. So that's kind of cool. I think that same guy, Michael McDonald, I think he was in Leprechaun too. I think he was working at like a coffee shop in that movie. But anyways, I thought that was cool. Just like, oh, they're working on this movie back in the 90s, and then they're in Halloween Kills together. It's kind of cool. I wonder if they're like homies like that. Maybe, who knows? Probably. But or probably not. It's like a coworker vibe. Like we're tight, but like we're not hanging outside of work. Like, you know. Yeah. So one negative, like I said, like I didn't dislike this movie. I just thought it was okay. Like the story was decent. The acting was, serviceable. But one thing that I kind of disliked, it wasn't a huge dislike, but it was like the look of this movie. It definitely had a cheaper look. It was like the lighting was kind of dim. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it was like the lighting was strange. It was like, even if it was like a room with like every single light on, or it was like it still had this like dim type lighting, and whatever they like. However, like whatever camera they filmed it on, it seemed like cheaper quality and like less. It seemed like less quality than like a feature film that would be in like a theater. Like it definitely had like felt made for TV. It felt cheaper. Like the look of it, because like 90s movies look good. They're not like blurry like some like something from like the 1930s. Like 1990s movies look good, and like nowadays everything's like all remastered and everything. Like this didn't look like up to par with other 90s movies. Like it wasn't grainy, but it was just like it had like a dim, cloudy look to it, like, which wasn't a huge deal. Like I watched like shot on video movies on this channel. It wasn't a huge deal to me, but it was just something I want to point out that was like, it would have been a little bit better if it was like a little bit crisper look, but it's not a huge deal. I already talked about it being original concept. The last thing that I want to talk about here is, so like I said, it is categorized as a comedy on some streaming services, and I believe on Google and the Wikipedia it's like categorized as a horror comedy. So, it's not like overtly comedic. It's more like satirical. It's not like they're just like cracking jokes, and it's not like, a horror comedy in the sense of like they're making fun of horror tropes, but it is like satirizing kind of like the art scene, because like all the artists are like so over the top and they're so pretentious, and then some of them are just wacky. Like there's these artists that their whole thing is like they photograph roadkill and they're like, yeah, we actually create the roadkill as well. So I thought that was pretty funny. There was like a lot of comedic like there's this one guy, he's just like so full of himself. He's like, yeah, I don't remember the things that I wrote because I'm trying to live in the present. And then Anthony Michael Hall's character like was like a big fan of his work, and he recalled something. He's like, well, didn't you say that like you do have to remember stuff in this other poem? And like, and then all the performance art is so funny. Like there's this girl, she's just getting like topless and she's like playing a violin. Like it's just so weird and random. And it's like they're like, oh, this means this and this means that, and they're just like stretching so far. Like even with his work, they're like, it has so many different hidden meanings. There's so many, like I totally understand what he's trying to articulate, and it's like great satire of like the art scene. Like I don't know anything about art. I'm just like a simpleton. I just watch, you know, like sleazy B movies on YouTube and record it. But I don't know anything about art, but I like that when they're like satirizing art people, because not all artists are like that. There's some like cool, no normal, down to earth artists, but like I feel like you do get that in the art scene. Like a lot of like pretentious people who like think they're like way more important, or they think they're like way smarter or way more influential than they really are. And it's like, yo, you just paint well. Like that's cool, but like you're not that important, my homie. But anyways, that's the last point I wanted to touch on. I'm gonna wrap things up here in a second. Would I recommend this? Honestly, even though like I didn't mind it, I had an okay time with it. I probably would not recommend it. It was just whatever. Like I said, like I had a fun time. Like I'm glad I watched it, but would I ever watch this again? No. Would I recommend it? No. I think you could find something else to watch, and if you want to watch, you know, another Roger Corman movie, there's better ones. If you want to watch another Anthony Michael Hall movie, there's better ones. So yeah, I would not recommend it, but I'm not hating on the movie. It was decent. It was serviceable for what it was. It wasn't too bad. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.